us train guys got together via Zoom and began to swap stories, and wow, we had so much we couldn't even fit it into one part. So here's part two of the craziness. Yeah, we had a great time talking. Okay. So here is part two of the Zoom call I had with Kevin and Josh, and swapping stories and sharing memories and telling about some of the craziness that we had on the train. We had a ton of fun, and I think you're going to have fun watching this. Now, again, I want to apologize. The sound on my microphone in particular is off. I don't know what was going on with it, but I think you'll enjoy getting over that and listening. But I think that the stories that we tell, oh my goodness, tale? No. But I think the stories that we tell more than make up for it. So here's part two of the fun.
Hey, has anybody seen or heard of the family found Rick's white hat?
I have no idea. Jamie, I think, has been doing more of the talking there. I don't know. He or Kevin Day are the ones that are doing most of the talking with the family.
I think Chris.
Oh,
I'm sorry.
Chris Ray.
Mr. Roboto, what did you say?
I think Chris Ray said something. Chris Ray said something in one of the, about the hat with the leather him.
Yeah, so I think Chris Ray was saying that he had it, that Rick had given it to him.
Oh, wow. I didn't think he'd ever give that up.
Well, I think when he left, he was. Or you could
Oh,
look
did
at
he
your
ever
phone.
get his SDC sign? I thought it was supposed to go on 76.
I thought he did.
I don't know. I'll ask. I'm going to be down there Thursday and Friday.
Yeah, I ask Andrew. Andrew could probably tell you.
Yeah, if not, we need to do something about that. Either commission it ourselves or something.
Yeah, we need to talk to him.
One of the funny things though was there was a pile of lumber laying right next to the tracks for some reason. I don't even remember why it was there. And somebody put I think it may have been Ben, wrote a piece of paper and wrote Hordes boards on it and stapled it on there. And I thought that was pretty good.
Somebody had one of the kids from Half Dollar Holler one summer had believe it or not, that's actually an improvement, Huff. One of the kids from Half Dollar Holler had gotten a lunchbox, and it was the exact same one as what he had. So remember when we had that fridge up in the conductor's shack, and he wrote a note on a sticky note one time, and he put it in the pocket of it. And he says, "Rick Hordes do not touch under penalty of shooting." I still remember when I first made my conductor hat and I put Christmas lights on it for my first year at Christmas, and I looked at it and I went, I clicked it on, and I went, ah, and he goes, "Oh great, you're lightheaded, just what I need."
In my case, he just told me that I was on the blink.
I will miss that man for sure.
Oh. Now you're going to make it up for the funeral?
I'm going to try. We're going to see what. Yeah, we're trying to see what we can do to get things lined up. So I've done everything I can to try to create the same family of people like I had at Silver Dollar City.
Oh my goodness!
That's one of the things. Rick was such a great teacher in that he taught me so much, and about management and stuff like that. And even though he was never really a manager, he always taught me. He says he would come to me, and after I get done talking with, he's like, "What's going on, man?" And he'd talk to me about it, and I'd spill the beans, and where's that gun? And he says, "Well, is there anything you can do to change it right now?" No. He's like, "Let go till you come up with something you can change.
Yeah.
Don't worry about it." And you know what? I've carried that on into what I do now, and it's just it's made such a difference in my life. And I got people at work that are like, whichever shift you go to, in signups, I want to go with you. And it's just like, okay, well, that makes me feel good. And like, you seem so calm and level headed, but you know how I'm always trying to have fun.
I was telling my daughter today, though, I says, you know, in all the jobs I've had, all the different places I've been, I have never been someplace where you had such a united group of friends, a team who loved each other like we did. And
Well,
I
love's a little strong. Okay.
well, but no, I really felt very grateful that you guys had all kind of adopted me in, because it was.
Well, we
such
thought you were a child. You were the size of a child.
Oh, okay. Here, you'll appreciate this.
Oh,
My
no.
wife got this for me for Christmas.
It looks just like you.
I'm just like, this name has stuck to me now.
I think we all had our own nicknames. I mean, we had Huff, we had Gnome, we had Justin was.
Seth actually sent me pictures of the wall.
I saw the new group up there. It's kind of funny because whenever I see people take pictures in the Robber Shack of the new names, I always look for the old names, see where they are, and making sure they're still up there.
Yeah, they're still there. They've been preserved. Kind of a neat thing to be part of the legacy of.
Well, when you were talking about the train family first came on, didn't matter if you were robbing, if you were conducting, you knew that whoever you're going to be robbing was going to be good. And you knew whoever the conductor that day was going to be good. Or if you were a conductor, you knew both rob. So it didn't matter what mix of people we got. It was all going to be good.
Well, Huff, don't get it twisted. There was plenty of conductors that saw that you were on the list to be a robber out there. And they're like, oh, dear Lord, I don't want to deal with ADHD.
I remember, you remember John,
Yes.
And he had a hard time getting down the robbing, but oh gosh, he was terrified of you, Huff. He was.
Really? Do tell. Okay, come on.
Because he actually,
that was always the goal, though. That was always the goal, though. When those kids came through in the summertime, I mean, we terrorized those. They were fodder for the cannon every single time. I remember the time it was Josh, black bearded Josh, and what was the other kid?
Oh gosh.
Anyways, they were out there. It was the one day that we had let them out there by themselves.
Yep.
And they started, it was towards the end of their season. They wanted to throw some funny stuff at me, and they had never done back up the train. Guess what we doing? We backing up the train. And I remember Josh, like, don't you want to go up there and look for them? I said, nope, we just gonna back this thing all the way back around to the depot. And I remember the guy that was playing Ralphie, he's like, well, how you gonna get it up that hill? And I said, and that's when I stopped and I was like, you know what? I think I'm proving my point. I said, you know what? Maybe that might be a good idea. I'll go check it.
You remember Zach?
Yes. Yeah.
His last day, we had him out there, and I don't remember who was robbing with him. But Devin was conducting, and we knew Zach was going to pull something at the end of the day. So we set him up where I hid in the engine and rode along in the engine around. And so Devin, of course, does the first half of the show, and Zach's big deal was he changed into these really tight shorts or whatever. But Devin comes down the hill, and I trade places with him behind the engine. And Zach's kind of sitting there marching along, and all of a sudden I come charging out. You're gonna scare the crap. He literally sat on the ground.
I still remember getting Devin, because I remember riding on the back of the train with whoever it was, and Devin was doing Alfie, and he come down there, and of course he got to the middle between cars 3 and 4, and I stood right there, and I just went, boo. And he goes, ah! And he got the gun out like that. I said, you riding my train? He goes, oh, no, sir.
Devin was so much fun.
He was.
He was so creative that, he was fun to get, but you also knew he was going to dish it out. And yeah, it was a constant one-upmanship with him. I had a ball robbing with him. You know, my twin brothers.
I remember Devin and Rick were of course, you got this old white guy.
Yep.
And this teenage black kid, and these are two are brothers
In the 1880s?
in the 1880s of all places. Where does this work? And I remember, he goes down and picks Ma. Devin went down and picked Ma, and it matched one of them, and it was him. And again, this woman, boys, she goes down, oh, boys, grabs him and like pulls him into the train. And I remember I'm trying not to die laughing because here's Devin up against the train, moving his arms around. Playing into this whole thing. And I was like, that's what you do.
He was a blast to work with. I was happy he came back the second year.
Yes. Yeah, I was glad we were able to get him the second year.
Yeah.
I fought for that boy. Huff, did you ever have any times where you actually got Rick, just kind of made him go, huh?
No. I don't think anyone ever got Rick.
Well, like once.
George did once. I almost got him, but then he caught on to what I was doing, and then he kind of waylaid me and kind of turned the tables around on me, and I was just like, what?
I tried to get him once when instead of Indians or Yankees, I told him that there were bears up ahead, and he was like, they're bears. I said, yeah, but they're little bitty. They're like this big. And I said, they're swinging these things. They can't anything. They were the Chicago Bears, but
I did Rams, I did Giants, but no, I said the Pirates one was the one that got him.
Oh yeah,
because I got Joe to go along with it. And, we stopped your land schooner to warn you, pirates, and he just went.
I think he was probably more looking at Joe, thinking, "What in the world are you doing? Why are you doing this?"
Yeah, because Joe never went off script.
I remember one time Rick and I tried to drag Joe off script, tried to get him to do something. Coming back to life, man. We need you.
But Joe was always rock solid.
He was solid.
He was solid.
Oh my goodness.
You could time your watch by Joe and how precise his entire thing was.
And Joe was always one that if you went off and never land, he could find a way to pull you back.
Yep. If he didn't pull you back, he'd subtly guide you back.
Yeah, Rick wasn't quite so subtle.
Definitely not. Oh goodness.
I couldn't have asked for a better group of guys to learn how to rob a train from.
Yeah, add that to your resume. See how far you get.
Oh,
I had fun trying to explain that one to the Fort Worth Police Department.
You have no idea how many people I get introduced at church group meetings and stuff, and I'll have other people. Oh yeah, you got to watch out for him. He was a train robber. I get pastors that have fun telling people I was a train robber. I'm like, I did not. I just took up offerings.
It's always one of my jokes I tell the newbie, especially the kids that come through, these 18, 19-year-old kids that want to do 911 and whatnot. And, that it's a joke that I play with them. And I was like, I don't care where you came from. I was a train robber before I did this. Look how I turned my life around. And they're like, no, you weren't. You're just being, you're over exaggerating. I said, nope, YouTube. Here, watch.
Yeah, it's a hilarious thing to have on the resume. It gets more conversation started. Yeah.
Yeah, HR found that really hilarious to see that on the.
Josh, remember when we did the lightsaber show? That was
last
fun.
night in Moonlight Madness, third year in. That was a hoot.
That. I remember Kevin and I doing the stick horse show on you though.
Oh, good Lord. I couldn't figure out what on earth y'all were doing. I was like, who are these two children that have wandered out here onto the set? But that was the thing. Anytime it was you, Jamie, or Huff, I mean, Kevin Day had his moments, but you guys were constantly, and if any of y'all came with a bag besides what you were having your lunch in, I knew it was going to be a troublesome day. And I knew that I was in for a world of hurt.
The stick horse was all Kevin Day. That was,
I don't care who it was. It was
yeah.
The thing with Kevin Day was once he would start laughing, the show was over. Because I mean, he never gained it back.
Oh, see, I was terrible at that. You guys would get me going, and I'd start to get it back a lie or two, then I've gone again.
there was a train, and I don't know what got into me, but I had the giggles so bad. And I remember I started laughing. I was sitting there as Ralphie, and Kevin Day was next to me. He goes, "What?" And I said, and I couldn't even talk. I just got like that, and he just goes, "Yeah." like he started playing along with, thinking I was acting, and I'm like I'm like holding my sides off to the right, and I mean, car one's looking at me like, is he going to die? I mean, what's going on? I think it was either Jamie or maybe it was you, Huff. I don't remember, but the conductor started laughing too. And I mean, the whole train started laughing, and then Kevin said, "Okay, that's enough of that. Back to serious business. We're going to rob this train." And then that's when the conductor snapped to and said, "You're going to do what?" He said, "We're going to help you guys live through this." And I lost it again. I was useless. I mean, I couldn't do anything. I was useless that entire show. And bye.
I still remember you, Josh, telling me about one show where a lady gave you an sealed up maxi pad.
Oh God, no. That was Rick. So Rick was Alfie. Rick was Alfie. I was Ralphie, and she gave me a tampon pad, and I was like, "Oh, must be one of the newfangled devices." And I went, "Hello." and then I took it, and I found that I was like, we're just gonna go with it, because everybody was just dying laughing as soon as they saw that. So I tore it off, and I said, "Ooh, it's sticky." And that's when the conductor came around the corner, and I quickly put it on my head. And he goes, and I turned around, and I kind of backed up to him. He says, "Hey, Ralphie," and I went, "What?" And he lost it. Rick didn't know what was going on, and I kept backing up. So I was like, "We're gonna play this along." I backed up the hill so my hat was facing towards the conductor, and he says, "You call your dumb brother up here." I said, "Hey, dumb brother, get up here." And I looked over at Rick, and Rick says, "Oh, I see you got a newfangled ornament for your hat." And I said, "I don't know, but that nice lady up there, she gave it to me, and I don't know what it's for." And he says, "I'll explain it to you when you're older." Everybody in every car lost it at that point. I mean, it was just, we were done. The conductor is just like, I can't top that. We're done. We're out of here.
Just gonna go down here and shoot you and get this over with.
Yeah. We were doing short shows anyways. That was one of the, I mean, I wish we had had the ability that if we had a good train to just run with it, but I mean, we were trying to keep a schedule. And
we had days, if we had done that, we never would have been able to stay on schedule, because we had days we were rolling every train.
Like,
yeah. So,
what's a schedule?
Yeah. Well, and even
I know not of this thing you speak.
Moonlight Madness, we pretty much tossed the schedule half the time because we were just going nuts.
I mean, it was new territory for us. We charted the way for Moonlight Madness.
Oh,
I remember the first time we tried to do that doggone thing out there in the dark. Me and Huff were looking at each other like, this ain't gonna work.
I can't even see you. What am I gonna?
It's like,
They gotta shoot us for real, or we're not gonna know it.
We had like those 330-watt bulbs down there on the ground.
Well, then we got the better lighting, but we couldn't see the train.
Yeah, I remember Rick was like, this is going to set something on fire. I can see it now. That's his M&C side coming out. He's like, this is not going to work.
The new lighting is really nice. So I don't know if you guys have been out at night now, but it's nice.
Is it? I might have to
got
check
to see
it
last
out.
year.
Yeah, they've mounted it on the trees on the side, so it's all kind of a wash. It works really well.
Well,
They
and
talked about that all 5 years that I was there, and we started doing Moonlight Madness.
Yeah.
they've got nice sound system now too.
Yeah, they do. The only downside of that is the conductor has to wear 2 mics because one mic works up at the depot and the other mic works out at the show. I usually don't even use one at the depot. I just holler at them.
Do you remember? Okay, like Rick was always really good about finding props. He found the doorknob. You guys remember that?
Oh yes, yes.
You don't remember
When you
that?
behind you?
Yeah. Door's broke. I think there's a spare key under the mat. Oh, thank you. Oh, look. Bam.
I loved that bit. That was amazing.
It always ended up evolving, and then the fork in the tree. Rick, go find Ralph. Go find the tree. Where's the tree? Where's the tree? And then, of course, we always had our big butts right planted up against the tree, and we'd shake it. I remember Huff sticking his big old butt right up against there, and that whole thing shook, and I'm pretty sure squirrels went flying out of it and everything.
Well, and then of course I don't remember who it was that actually started putting a fork in the tree.
I had no idea this fork just appeared one day.
That was a great prop, whoever that was.
Yes, but I think it was Ben.
It might have been. Ben was
the
very
branch
literal.
thing.
I think
I
it was
thought-
Ben. It's like a great big, it's like a meat fork that's in there. So you can see it better when you hold it up. I don't know who brought that, but I'm glad they did.
I remember the one day that Rick and I both dove behind the log because we didn't know what to do, and we just decided we were both going to dive behind the log and stick our butts up in the air. And then the conductor said, 2 bones for the price of 1. Pow! There was always something new to try and something new to do. And the funny thing is we always tried to mesh a little bit of Jim and Rick and Joe's old stuff. And anytime we saw anybody from the old show, like Pooter and and Tiny and all them, we'd always ask them, what's some stuff that we can throw in and try to revamp. And it always seemed to come back around. So
Tiny. My first couple times working with him, I didn't like working with him because he was out there robbing, and I had just barely learned the basic script, and he starts doing all this stuff. I had no clue what he's doing. Like, how am I? He Pearl Harbored me bad.
Help me, please. Give me a line.
I think I actually had you call him and say, "Look, George is a wuss. Stay on script."
It was something to that effect. Okay, we'll leave it at that.
I mean, and later on, I loved working with him, but those first couple times, oh my goodness.
Anytime we got, I remember Zajac came out and robbed. That was funny.
Yes.
He had that weird voice when he robs.
Hey, Pitch.
Yes.
We're here to rob you. What?
Get the helium out of your voice and we'll believe you. And that's what, I always found so funny was that we were even, listen to the way we're talking right now. We're still picking at each other. We're still doing it. Like, we never stopped being on the train, even when we were done.
Here's something that's amazing. Do you know the show Buckets and Boards in Branson? Yeah. One of the guys was actually a train robber several years back.
Oh, yeah. I remember hearing about that.
And I had gone with my family to the show when I was still working at the park. And, of course, hey, we got somebody here from Silver Dollar City. Where do you work? On the train. He starts spitting out the robbery, and we did half the robbery at their intermission. It's just, with the old train guys, it's like, once you're in the train, you're always in the train.
Yeah, that was always our thing. Once in the Bowling family, you're always in the Bowling family. And I mean, I talk to Woodard every once in a while.
Mhm.
I still see Josh Ruiz on Facebook every once in a while, and you know, we're all Bolins. We'll always be Bolins.
Yep.
And you know, that's what made it so hard to hear that Rick had passed away was, you know, we lost a brother, and you know, he was the best of us and the worst of us at times, but he was still one of us, and we still miss him. And I think we'll always think back to the good times. I mean, they're still stuck in my memory, and I'm glad that we got this chance to meet with each other and, you know, remember the good old days. And if I ever had a chance to relive those days, I would do it.
Oh, I'd
That's
love
that's
to.
that's something I would go back and do. And that's why if it ever came about where they would let us
It's
do
one of
it,
those things that I can imagine, not during the memorial service, but I'd be willing to bet afterwards, because you know we're all going to be sitting around shooting the breeze and throwing stuff around.
I'm gonna be at Chili's. I don't know about y'all.
But I'm fully expecting us to start throwing out the whole deal. And can you imagine 10 of us all trying to do a robbery at the same time?
I mean, we're just gonna have to come up with something, and maybe sometime next year, you know, we'll just say we're gonna meet on this day, and you mark it in your calendars now because you ain't getting out of it any other way. I say we dress up as Robert and go storm Silver Dollar City.
Man. Did I tell you when I got in trouble doing that?
Ride the train.
What did you get in trouble doing?
Although I was still working there, but Moonlight Madness, when Margaret was still working at the one gift shop, and I had been out robbing, and I had the early shift, so I was off at 5 or something like that, and I had to wait an hour for her. So I went and hung around Tom and Huck's in my robber gear, and I proceeded to rob the store and chat up and Ralphie and everything. They went from no business to having people all around and selling stuff, and the manager came over. We can't have you doing that because you're drawing too much attention. Like, I'm drumming up business for you.
I'm sorry. Say that again a little bit slower, and this time listen to what you're saying.
Yeah, I was like,
there was one rain day that me and Rick went down to that the pizza place. And I mean, on the way there, I mean, we had people following us to the pizza place. And I remember Jamie Day was like, she was like, oh my God, there's people.
Yeah, it was funny. I mean, those rain days when we would get stuck up at the station, and you know, people are coming up like, what are you doing? Because we'd have the robbers and conductors up there together. There was one picture I found the other day. It's a terrible shot of me, but I just
There's
thought it was
abundance of those.
Oh well, yeah, but
oh, good Lord!
Nice.
What is this?
And why were you up there in the middle of the day like that? It doesn't look like it's raining.
I'm guessing that we were probably down for maintenance or something.
Yeah.
But yeah, we had a bunch. I uploaded all of these things up to Smug Mug, so they're all there for you.
I got a few of the Moonlight Madness kids and whatnot. And,
Yeah, remember when you were going to make a video like 2 years ago?
Yeah,
I still remember the day that JJ pulled me from the train and said, "Hey, I need you to come over to the American Plunge." And okay, what's going on? And I went over to the American Plunge, and they called Kevin Day down. That was the first day I met Kevin Day, and his eyes lit up, and he's like, because I was in my conductor uniform, and he says, what's going on? He says, "Hey, I was talking with Josh here about you, and you know, da 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 da." And I mean, I said, "Is he want me to see if he can be a robber?" And I was like, "Okay." And so we sat down, and I gave him this. We had the paper script, or JJ had the paper script, gave it to him. I fed him the lines. He went off script, and I was like, "I want him. I want him now."
Yeah.
He always told me that one joke. He says, you know what the best thing to come out of Oklahoma is, right? He says, I said, no. He says 35.
Kevin was amazing. Yeah, I remember it taking a few weeks to fully get him off Plunge because they had to get somebody else to cover him there.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was a great addition.
Well, Huff, you came to us from a labor pool, didn't you? You were labor pool at one time.
He worked with my wife at merch.
Yeah, my first year there at Silver Dollar City, I was just merchandise labor pool, and loved it. I had a great time there. But then I happened to see the little board that had the train opening, and I was like, "Ooh, that sounds like something for me."
This sounds like it could be
Okay.
fun. Let's try this.
You'll appreciate this, Huff. My wife, after working with you one day, she comes to me and says, I worked with this guy today that, well, he was a little different. It's just, and then he picked out where I'm from based on how I talk. And I couldn't believe it. I was like, well, what happened? He says, just talk a little bit. And he says, you're from California. I'm like, how on earth did you know that? It's because you use so a lot.
You begin your sentences with "so."
Yeah.
Only California people do that.
I don't know why you would say that. So, but, well, and then we started, but yeah, she was blown away by you. And then when she heard you were moving to the train, she looked at me and says, oh, you're in for it now. but she really liked it.
That's what Lee Hafey told me when I got Kevin. He's like, you better keep your eye on this one. He's a wild one. I went, yes.
Yeah, that's what we want. Oh, we did. We had an amazing group of guys. We really did.
I hope you enjoyed watching and listening to that as much as I had taking part in it. It was a blast, and we've only begun to touch on the stories. There's some amazing ones out there that I hope I get to share with you in the future. In the meantime, thank you so much for watching this, for hitting that like button, for sharing the video, and for subscribing if you haven't already. Thank you as well to my financial supporters, my YouTube members, and my patrons. They all help keep me going and provide opportunities for me to do even more. Be sure to check that out as well as more in the description below. Thank you so incredibly much for watching, and God bless. Thank you so much for watching. If you'd like to know about contact information, fan pages, merchandise, and more, please be sure to check the description below. If you enjoyed this video and you'd like to know when I have new ones, well, make sure you hit that subscribe button right up there. And if you want to see another one of my videos, well, I've got a great one for you right here. And a huge thank you to these wonderful people here who support me on Patreon and with YouTube memberships. They get behind the scenes information, special perks, and more. If you'd like to know more about that, well, make sure you check that button right there. Thank you so much.